Hi, welcome back. This is the second part of my Mitre station build. If you haven't yet seen part 1, then please do go back and see this before continuing. I start off by cutting all my parts for the right hand side cupboard. I designed the cupboard using SketchUp and then using a cutting list which I found online, links in the description, I cut all my 8x4 sheets down to size. Using the large T-square with my plunge saw makes this process incredibly quick and easy. Just make sure you label each part as I did and then tick it off your cut list. Also, don't forget, measure twice and cut once. The weather turned on me here, so as you can see, I'm heading inside. This clearly isn't ideal, and as you can see, the shed is in a right mess. One of the reasons why I so need this station. I make sure to go by my design, which I have printed out, as I did design this in a particular way to help with the support of a floating shelf. I was joined in the shed with my dad. It was good to have another pair of hands during this part, and however, he did plead not to be on film, so sorry old man. When the cabinet was in place, I measured out for the cutout of the plugs. Using the saw made this job nice and easy. only now that it's in place, it's all levelled, that I realised I've made a mistake. I drew a line on the worktop to simulate where the fence will be in comparison to the mitre saw. I measured from the back wall to the line to make my unit, and obviously I now need to change that because I need to fit the fence in front of the actual cabinet itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the plunge saw round now, all the edges, and I'm going to take off 54 millimeters. Now this number is going to be the 218 millimeter thickness of the MDF to make up the actual fence, and also another 18 millimeters which is going to be incorporation of the face frame. So 18, 18, 18, 54. Get on and do it. Let's hope no more mistakes. So as I said, I'm just running the plunge saw around, rotating the piece as I go. Loads of mandlets are made here, so do make sure you wear a face mask. Just a quick one. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fix a bead straight the way across, drill that into the studs that I know where they are, and then I'm going to drill it up as well. So it's going to be fixed to the upper cabinet, and also because I don't want all the weight going to be on the top of this, because there's going to be no backing board on that at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place another one under this bit here. I fancied giving the saw a try out in its new position. I found this bit of timber in the shed, so I cut this down to the dimensions I needed, and using the Craig jig, I use it to place screws going up into the top of the cabinet. Now that is in place, the whole cabinet is really solid. I mean, it's just not moving. What I want to do, as I said, I want to add another bracket under here. Now this one's going to be a little bit easier because I can drill through the top of here. Before I couldn't do that because it was too close to the ceiling. Okay, secondly is now in place, and I've also secured the front down to the main table. What I'm going to do now is take out the support, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it stays in place. Okay, I don't know whether you can see this on camera, but just on the edge everything seems really good, but on here it's just drooping a little bit. So what I'm going to do is put a screw down as close as this edge as possible and try and get it into this piece of wood here. Brake. Right, I put that screw in, and it seems to be holding up. Alright, now checked it with the spirit level. Now my spirit levels are pretty naff. I need to replace the whole lot. They're absolutely terrible, but this one seems to be okay. and to be honest, I think over the whole distance it is only about a millimetre out. That's across the whole width, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now, to fix the shelves in place, I'm going to be using what a friend of mine quite cleverly described as a metal tenon. Now obviously for you and me that is a screw. So again, I'm going to be screwing the whole lot as I've done already with the cabinet. Now, I don't like to use PVA or wood glue when I'm building shop furniture. This is purely because if for whatever reason I don't like the design after a little while, if it doesn't slightly work, I can remove it, take out the screws, fill the holes and reuse any of the wood. Here I am cutting the shelves for the unit. I cut 4 spaces to hold the shelf at the correct height so I could drill and screw it into place. I'm starting the base framing now. Using 2x1, I cut it to rough lengths and then cut them to width on the table saw, this being 18mm. For the center partition, I used the whole 2x1, and using the Craig jig again, I screw this into the center. I spent some time doing the face frame on this cabinet now. It may not look 100% pretty, but at the end of the day it's going to be in a workshop, so I'm not really that bothered. I'm going to be making some doors that go on the front here and they meet in the middle on this center partition. Now the center partition, as you saw, has Craig screws going down into the lower and the upper part of the cabinet. This is just to give it rigidity and strength in the shelves. I've also put cleats on the back underside of the shelves. This again is to give some support because these are MDF. I am expecting them to warp over time, especially with some of the tools that I'm going to be putting in here. Hopefully though this will help support the shelves, and also as well because I'm going to be fitting a pull-out drawer in this area here, I don't want this to sag and obviously catch on the drawer when I'm trying to pull it out. Now that this cabinet is all completed, I'm going to move on and build the second, which is going to be on the left hand side. I won't film this because it is going to be exactly the same as this cabinet. Okay, I've made the second one now. It's exactly the same as this one, except that it doesn't have this overhang bit here. Right, now that we've done that, and I'm going to be making a unit to go in here to fill up this space, and when that's all in, I'm going to cut some wood to go on the top to act as a beading. So we'll get on and do that now. I cut all the parts for the middle cupboard off camera, but use a table saw to get them all to the same width. I pin and screw the box as before. With the cupboard in place, I level it up and screw it in. Okay, I'm going to call it a day on this one. The cabinets are now in, so that is part 2. So join me in part 3, where we will be making the doors and the drawers to finish off this floating Mitre saw station. Once again, if you did like this video, please do click the like and comment down below, and if you can, click the subscribe button in the lower right of your screen so you'll know whenever I update a new video. Stay tuned for part 3.